Just check my timing here because I'm really blabbing. Hang on. I think I have more time. I don't know. I messed something up with the timing. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about also what happens as soon as you let's say, okay, you have your baby now and you're starting, you're in the first year at some point and you're kind of finding your way about like what sort of parenting techniques or approaches that you may have. It's interesting what I have observed all over the place actually is this sense of I'm doing it my way, therefore you should do it my way. No, I mean that's oversimplifying it, but it's really weird the way that happens between parents, whether the other person is a stranger or someone who's close to you. And a lot of this has come out of attachment parenting. The idea, the philosophy behind attachment parenting is very specific, and it really is very different than the conventional way of parenting, where you were very separate from your baby. You had your baby and you put them in a crib, you gave them a bottle, maybe you had other people take care of them. I don't know, it's just this sense of like detachment is how some people might look at it. And attachment parenting is strictly the opposite of that. You're always wearing your child, you sleep with the child in the bed, I mean from infancy through whenever you're ready to get the child out. You're nursing instead of bottle feeding. I mean, it's like there's a whole bunch of things that go along with that. And I feel like that's created such a rift between people. Because, I mean, there's no correct way to parent. And it's not fair to impose anything on anyone else. And even if you wouldn't really call yourself imposing it, you might have a tendency to do that just by, in a more subtle way, by sort of judging someone else for doing things differently than you did. A good friend of mine was telling me that he and his best friend, they both had babies within months of each other, can no longer hang out because their parenting styles are so at odds with each other that it creates conflict all the time. And that the friend is doing the attachment parenting style, and my friend is doing like a much more conventional, just kind of very different from that approach. And it's more like the wives in both situations that are just like, like, look at your kid. It's, neither one of them can see the benefits in the other situation. And it creates all sorts of conflicts and blame and, and my child's picking up bad habits from yours now and all of this stuff. It's like, it's very heavy. And just the fact that they can no longer be friends, at least at this point in time, really is just an example of how that kind of judgment can go awry. But then, in a different circumstance, I've heard other people tell me stories that, have happened right here in Jersey City where, you're a new mom and you go to the playground and you're talking with the other moms and suddenly you feel like an outsider because you're not doing things the way they're doing and you're feeling like you're being held to a certain standard. This happens a lot with breastfeeding, and that's really unfair because, it's really a very personal choice whether or not you're going to nurse. And there's so many reasons why you may do one or the other, or why something, maybe nursing didn't work for you. And it's, I mean, for some people, maybe it doesn't work and they abandon the entire idea in the first week. Other people may have given a valiant try with lactation consultants and this and that and this, and it still didn't work. I mean, the truth is you don't really know what the other person's situation is, and it doesn't matter if they gave up because it wasn't for them or that they had some medical condition. It really is irrelevant. The truth of the matter really is that it's not fair to impose your judgment or say, well, you didn't have enough support, or you should have gone to these meetings, or whatever, whatever, whatever. I mean, it's nice to offer that, and I love that La Leche League exists and that it's available. If you need to go to a La Leche meeting, and they're extremely helpful if you're nursing. You can look that up online, and you can find meetings in Jersey City. I know some La Leche leaders, and these are fabulous women. I totally respect them and everything. And I'm not maligning that group as a whole. I'm just saying that the sentiment behind judging other women who chose not to nurse for whatever reason is just detrimental to the notion of community, or just women being sort of connected by being mothers. I mean, there's not this sense of camaraderie. It always seems like there's this intense conflict. Recently in New York Magazine, there was an article about, everybody's been talking about this Alpha Mom article, where this woman, just kind of decided that to be the best mom she could be, she kept saying it takes a village. Well, her idea of taking a village, you could look at that in a different way. Yeah, it's great to have lots of help, but in what form? Her idea of it was to hire somebody for every single part of parenting. A day nanny, a night nurse, this or that, like all these, like an entire entourage of people to help her parent her child. And and for some women, this really annoyed a lot of women. I saw that. It came out in like a million different ways, via email, on the message boards for the Child Friendly Initiative, and just in general talking to people. It was upsetting to a lot of women, and part of it might have been this little sense of jealousy, like, hell yeah, my first year with a baby would have been a lot easier if I had had a night nurse and around-the-clock help and a nanny and so forth. And then I could go out and, continue my life as is. But, okay, that's, one notion. The other idea of it is, why would you bother having a kid if you're going to leave the parenting of the child up to everybody else? And then there might be a small group who is like, what do I care? I'm doing it my own way. Let her do it her own way. Who's to say what child is going to benefit more from either approach? And I think I'm out of time here, but gosh, I could talk about that topic all day. All right, signing off. Mamarama, write to me, mamarama@oppermail.com. T-shirts coming soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I guess I do have like 2 more minutes, so the girls want... What are you doing, babe?
No, bye, Mommy.
Bye.
I don't want to.
It's meltdown time at the Mamarama house.
Goodbye.
That's a classic meltdown.
No.
Okay, enough of this. What was this all about? Yeah, okay. Until next time. I know, but at the beach it may be nicer out.